Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for coming to our 10th annual Market Outlook Seminar. My name is Jason Nicola. I'm one of the advisors here at NWM, and I'll be your MC for the evening. It's great to see some friendly faces out there in the audience, some clients and business partners that we've been working with for many years. But it's also nice to see some new faces as well. So whether you've been working with us for a little under 12 months now, or perhaps you're thinking about working with us and one of our advisors, it's great to see you, and we welcome you. Now, we've got a full schedule tonight, but first, just a couple of housekeeping items. Everything that we present tonight will be available to you. So when you came in, there was an agenda on your seat, and inside that agenda is a request form. So if you'd like to have a copy of today's presentation, either in paper format or electronic format, or if you'd like to schedule a meeting with one of our advisors, simply fill out that form, and then you can do one of two things. You can either hand it in at the reception desk that was there when you first came in, or better yet, track down one of our advisors, myself, one of our staff, and we'd be more than happy to help you. Second, we're expecting the presentation to be about an hour long tonight, and after that, as usual, we will have a reception out in the lobby there with some refreshments and hors d'oeuvres, so please do join us for that. It's always lots of fun to chat with everybody. For those people that are interested, we will be having an informal question and answer session in here about 5 minutes after the presentation. So if you want to participate in that, use that 5-minute break, rush off to the washroom, fill up your glass of wine, and then join us back for that, either if you want to participate or simply sit on the side and listen. Now, 2012 was a busy year for us at Nicola Wealth Management. Nicola Crosby, our real estate arm, made a number of acquisitions, including 2 new acquisitions in San Francisco for the first time, so that was very exciting for us. We also launched successfully our real estate pool, private equity pool earlier this year, which gave our clients access to an asset class which until now has been highly inaccessible and very illiquid. We've been able to find a solution to that. And across Canada, there's been a continuing hunger for advice and guidance with respect to portfolio management and planning. And we've been privileged and pleased to be a part of that discussion across some of Canada's major newspapers, television networks, and online publications. Now, 2012 was generally a favorable year for investors, especially coming off of 2011 when many Canadians saw their investment portfolios post negative returns. And while we did see a surge in worldwide equity markets over the last 2 quarters, publicly traded equities, which continue to form the majority asset class in most balanced retail mutual funds, continue to deliver a bumpy ride. But where do investors go? With interest rates on bonds hovering around 2%, the fixed income investor is not receiving an adequate return on their capital. So suffice it to say, we believe that traditionally balanced portfolio of 60 to 70% publicly traded equities and 30 to 40% publicly traded fixed income is going to continue to struggle in this economic environment. And that is not to say that we do not feel that these asset classes have a role to play in a much more broadly diversified investment portfolio, but only when complemented with sizable allocations to alternative asset classes such as hard asset real estate, mortgage pools, true hedge funds, private equity, infrastructure, and debt. And we shared this slide with you at our presentation last year, showing some of Canada's best pension funds and institutional money managers. And while the returns have changed slightly since last year, the strategy has not. And this much broader approach to asset allocation and portfolio management has allowed our own clients to achieve significantly better investment results than that traditionally balanced retail mutual fund with much less volatility. The question is always this: what is going to work going forward? And to answer that question today, we have 2 bright individuals with bright ideas here with us. Now, there is a slight change to the program. I know that many of you on your agenda did see that John Nicola would be speaking here tonight. Unfortunately, he has come down with a pneumonia. He's fine. I was just with him a couple of hours ago, but he's graciously agreed not to infect the rest of us and to stay home. So in terms of our speakers, for our first speaker, no change. Mr. Rob Edel, our Chief Investment Officer, will be coming out to give us a review of what happened in the capital markets in 2012, and also look further into 2013 at some of the risks and the opportunities that we see and the impact that may have on your investment portfolio. Next, we have David Sung, our president and one of our financial advisors. And David's going to be looking at some of the macro issues affecting us, from real estate prices, specifically housing, to the most recent federal government budget and some of the tax changes and the impact that that's going to have on high net worth investors. And if anybody can make tax interesting, well, nobody can make tax interesting, but that's why we're going to have some wine afterwards and lots of fun. Now, in preparing for tonight's presentation, of course, naturally I did a little bit of research on my two subjects here and came across some interesting facts, and I'm sure some of you in our audience know this, but it turns out that the last name Edel in German actually means noble. Yeah. And the surname Sung could very well be an association to one of China's most ancient and respected dynasties, the Song dynasty, which in fact was the first national government to issue printed paper money. This is coincidence. Ladies and gentlemen, would it be too much of a stretch to suggest that we are going to have investment royalty on our stage here tonight? When I start to think of first names and I think of the name Rob, I think of this guy. And when I think of the name David, I think of this guy. So it just goes to show you can only take word association so far. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got a packed schedule tonight, so without any further ado, please join me in welcoming our first presenter, NWM Chief Investment Officer, Rob Edel.